Hey guys, welcome back to Trees to Firewood. Matt here. So today I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of burning with your outdoor wood boiler in the summer months. I'd say it's not for everybody, obviously. For us, we're still burning just to heat our hot water, our domestic hot water. That's it. That's all. It's heating currently. It's finally warm enough that the house doesn't need to run the shops and so on. So I know I'd say 99 or 95% of people out there that have an outdoor boiler probably shut it down come early spring or mid-spring when their house is done heating. And then they go back to their natural gas or electric, propane boiler or hot water tank. So, but me or us, I should say, I continue the burn just to heat the hot water. It makes sense for us because I have wood coming out of every orifice of our property. I own a tree service. I sell firewood, so I have wood. I have scraps to burn year round. But is it efficient to run in the summer months just to heat the hot water? Well, so here's an example. This is a cart that I use in the summertime. This amount of wood, it's not very big, but this amount of wood here will last me a week. If not, yeah, I'd say about a week, 6 to 7 days, give or take. I probably put 5 pieces in. No, I take that back. I probably take 3 to 4 pieces every time I load, every 12 hours. Sometimes I'll put 10 to 12 in for the whole day if I'm not going to be around or I just get lazy. But that's about how much wood that'll last the whole week. So it's not a whole lot, but it does, obviously, it adds up, you know, week after week after week until you start heating something else. So is it for everybody? No. Yes, there's still a cost involved, you know, having the blower fan run on this particular model. The pump to circulate the water to the house and back, and to me that's very minor. We have a natural gas hot water tank, but every time you would run the water for the faucet or take a shower, obviously the hot water tank would run. I swear that thing ran all the time. So that, to me, that's not very efficient. I can't tell you the cost comparison. Is it cheaper to run this or that? All I know is we have zero natural gas consumption year round. We don't use any. This, obviously, we have as much hot water as we would ever need. We have the sidearm kit, which mounts to the side, mounts to the blow-off portion and the drain. You still have the drain, still have the blow-off. That's how we did it. You could take, I know we've taken 4 showers back to back and give the kids a pretty good sized bath, and we still had hot water. So for me, or for us, it makes sense. Is it for everybody? I don't know. If you have a lot of wood that you can burn, scraps off your property, I think it makes sense. I love my outdoor boiler, so to me, it's worth it. We have a Heatmaster G10000. So it's the biggest gasification unit model that they make. It's very efficient. So it doesn't burn that much wood, even when I'm putting this thing to the max. It does phenomenally well. Obviously, a lot of factors come involved with what kind of underground piping do you use, the heat loss with that, the insulation in your house, how big's your hot water heater for, you know, your domestic water, how efficient is your boiler. I think all the new boilers, whether it's whatever brand it may be, they're all pretty comparable, I think, as far as efficiency goes. So, but I wanted it to be where I could heat the hot water year round, and I know a lot of people struggle to keep a fire going, but you can mess with the settings and so on to keep her going. So pros and cons, you gotta have wood to burn. You still, you know, you're still got to attend to the fire once, twice a day to keep it just for the hot water. So to some people, that's not worth it. You know, it's kind of wasteful, I guess you would say, but owning a firewood company and a tree service, I have plenty of wood scraps to burn, you know, stuff that I'm not going to turn around and resell. You know, here in the Midwest, we have a ton of hardwoods here, so having hardwoods, that's what people want. Obviously out west, they may have, you know, all they really have are softwoods, so that's what they burn. But my customers don't want softwood, so that's usually what I'll burn in the boiler in the summer months. But I'm still burning locust. I probably have a face and a half left of my good hardwood locust that's ready to go now, and that should last me all summer until we get into hopefully October-ish, I would think. But like I said, I have scraps to burn, so these are all scraps from, you know, splitting wood. So most of this I'll probably make into kindling bundles, but I could throw this right in the fire. This is all ash, so that's all pretty much ready to go. So yeah, that's one pro, is you gotta have the wood. Two, like I said, you gotta go out and tend to it. Yes, you're still burning electricity. Yes, there's still a fire going. But me, I'd rather be doing a little bit of work than paying, you know, the electric company or the gas company or whatever it may be. But like I said, if this goes out, my system in the house will turn on its own, and you would never know that the boiler's out. So I'd say it's not for everybody, but in my case, it makes sense. I'm sure there's others that still burn in the summer months when they're not heating their house and whatnot. So it makes sense for us. I mean, like I said, to each their own. So that is one option. You know, in my case, I don't really like the water just being stale and just sitting there. I feel like that's never good for pipes, but you know, there is water treatment in the lines, so it should be fine. Yeah, you're still gonna lose some. This is an open system, so you're still gonna lose some to, you know, evaporation, but that's very minimal. So but I think at the end of the day, you got to be a boiler guy or a woman that likes to do it, likes to burn. You know, you're gonna have to have a little bit more wood on hand, you know, to keep burning if that's what you got. Yeah, you could get away with burning pine and spruce, you know, some type of sappy wood like that, you know, in the summer months. I don't have to burn that. I choose not to. I make that stuff in the kindling, so, and we kiln dry that, and we sell that as well. But so yeah, you kind of have to like it, what you're doing. So is it worth it to keep it going in the summer? I would say yes. But like I said, you just have to attend to it. Like I said, to us it makes sense. I mean, there are some nights that it's cold, and I still heat the shop just because you know, if I'm working in there the next day, or we got to go to work, I want my hydraulics and all my equipment to be warm. Otherwise, it just takes that much longer for everything to warm up. But that's besides the point. But so yeah, I guess if you live in a wooded area like your property, and you have scraps and sticks that you can burn throughout the day or whatever, it makes sense. If you don't, and you have to buy everything you have, it probably doesn't make much sense to keep it going, unless you have a pretty efficient system that, you know, you ain't gonna go through much wood. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Like I said, we haven't heated the house in over a month, and it's still going. The only time I did have to restart it one day because I kind of neglected. I was just staying in the house and didn't feel like coming out here at night, and it fully burned out, so there just wasn't any wood left in there. All I had to do was stir it up and hit the cold start button, and there she went. So it wasn't like there was a problem. So it's pretty easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's really no big deal. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to come out here and stir it up, put some wood in there, and you're on your way. So it's not like it's that big of an inconvenience versus coming out in a huge snowstorm, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I'm curious to see how many other people out there that are still burning in the summer. And if you're not, you know, if you shut it down, that's one thing. But curious to see the boiler owners out there that are still burning. How many of you guys out there that still are? and then where you're located. And if you're still actually heating for your house, we're in the early part of May right now, so I'm curious to see who's still doing that and what your thoughts are, and continue to burn, and why you still burn, and so on. So, but as always, keep burning.